He is 6 months old now and weighs about 17 pounds. The doctor said that he's just off the charts. He's doing fabulous.
And that morning, my wife said, we still have a lot of paperwork we need to get taken care of. And so we were thinking, okay, we have plenty of time. We still have about a month and a half to get everything done, so we were ready for it. And then that afternoon we had gotten the call that said that he was already here. And so then we're thinking, how are we going to go up there? We don't have anything finished that we were supposed to get done. Everything's taking longer than it was supposed to. But God
we didn't even have our FBI papers in, and I mean the important stuff that
the background checks.
Yeah.
But God definitely knew better than we did, and He, since we had already been foster parents, we were able to go and contact the agency that we went through our fostering through, and they were able to get us all of our background checks, everything that we had needed that we actually didn't even get until he was like 3 months old. We didn't get some of that paperwork back, but we were able to get all of that sent up to our agency and over to our lawyers and all the things, and he definitely knew better than we did. And that was miraculous in and of itself. We're driving up, we're going to go see him, and we're going to drive all the way through, and it was about a 20-hour drive. We were going to drive all the way through, and we made about 3 hours and we crashed in a hotel because we couldn't make it any further.
Our adrenaline
was gone.
Gave way. Because he was a preemie, they sent him down to the Ohio State Medical Center, and if it wasn't for that, then we would have had to pay for a hotel for about a month. So.
But we found out that on the way up about her great aunt, and my wife's mother had got all the arrangements made, and they said, just come on over, we have a bedroom ready for you. And so we went straight there because we wanted to be able to meet with his birth mother first before we got to meet him. And so the next day, it seemed like it took years to the next day arrived because we wanted to see him so bad. We wanted to see him so bad, but we wanted to meet the birth mother first. So we went to the hospital, and through different things that happened in the hospital, it took longer than we expected. And so we waited right in front of the room that he was staying at for almost 2 hours.
Yeah, it was.
And it was the most nerve-wracking 2 hours that we've ever experienced. But finally, the wait was over, and we got to go see him, and it was a memory that I'll never forget because we had to go in, and since he's in NICU, we had to get all scrubbed up and cleaned up and wipe all, clean our hands about 10 times and go in there, and he was in a little incubator.
All 4.5 pounds of it.
All 4.5 pounds of little guy. And I just remember the first time we saw him, it was just, we knew that we were just in love with him right at that moment. And I don't think we cried then, but we definitely...
I think we were just still
in shock
because we weren't expecting it, but he was there.
The birth mother was still in the hospital also. He was there. There was a lot of paperwork that had to happen. We were waiting for her to sign over the documents, and he wasn't doing the best, and so we were basically living in the hospital for about a week. And we were just, at least I was, I think Jen was more strong than I was, and I was starting to worry and breaking down and crying and wondering if everything was going to go through the way that it was supposed to. And so far everything was smooth, and all of a sudden I started thinking, I don't know if God has everything planned perfectly. And I started doubting and I started worrying, and my wife was the strong one at this point in time. She was the one saying, everything will work out. And I just remember that, that was probably the most worrisome time that I ever experienced. But in a matter of days, all the documents, or a lot of the documents were signed, and we were just spending as much time as we possibly could in the hospital as they would let us, and seeing him as much as we could.
Because he was out of state, we did have to go through an interstate contract, and there were just some different things that we had to wait on that we had no control over. And that was the hard part for me, was just the waiting and not really getting, I couldn't fix it. I couldn't do anything. It was just, we had to wait for the states to talk and say, okay, you can go home.
And so this was the role reversal. So this was when you were having the most trouble and I was the strong one. So
because I just want to get home to his grandma's so they can meet him and show him off and just start our life together.
Our parents and family were just very supportive in the whole adoption process, and I mean, they love him so much. And my mom will always say, she couldn't love him more if we had given birth to him.
Yeah.
And so they love him. They want to have him over at their house all the time.
Yeah. This is their grandkid. You couldn't tell him any different. A couple weeks, then we had to do the post placement. And after you meet the Browns, you don't have any worries that it's going to be anything where you have to, have your house spick and span. They know that this is life, and they just want to make sure he's doing all right, and they just come in and ask you some questions and just spend time with you, and it was a piece of cake. Nothing to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
They're fun to hang out with. Only God could have put our story together, and I'm still amazed that we have him,
and we wouldn't replace it for anything.
Yeah. Until those papers were finalized. She could have decided that she wanted to keep him, and that was a hard time for me. I did have communication with her, and if you have the ability to do that, just starting up a relationship with the birth mom is a really good idea, because then she understands you, and she'll feel more comfortable, letting her child, letting you be the mother of her child. But that was a hard part for me. There's always going to be the uncertainty with birth moms, but you have to just trust that God knows, and if she does take it back, then God's got another child out there for you, and I wouldn't give up hope, and I would keep on looking.
So we just trusted, and we persevered through it, and the Lord definitely blessed us.
Yeah.
It's a longing deeper than words. At Hope for Families, we make every effort to provide prompt, professional, and compassionate adoption services that can help you better negotiate through the confusion and red tape in order to make an adoption choice that is right for you. Adoption takes determination, faith, and patience, but you have options. There is hope. Hope for Family. Call 800-620-HOPE.